So what we'd like to do is take it back to like when you was young. Yeah. So just tell us a bit about your upbringing.
Cool. So I was born Lagos, Nigeria, in Surulere. Then grew up there till literally 11 years old. 2 weeks after my birthday, I come out here on holiday on September the 3rd, 96. Then while I come out here, my aunt and uncle had asked my aunt, could I stay over and stay here permanent? She said, I'll speak to my husband, my uncle. Spoke to him, he was like, we're gonna have to speak to your mum. So we phoned my mum now, said to my mum on the phone, like, yeah, I wanna stay, I'm not coming back. She said, you know what, you said this from young, but like I said, damn, I wish it was the year that my uncle flew his kids to America, because I ended up growing up in America instead.
All right, guys, wait, hold up. So we looked at the analytics, and apparently 25% of you who watch this podcast are not subscribed. Now, that doesn't make sense, because if you're watching this podcast, then you clearly like it and you clearly want more. So the best way to get more is to subscribe. And guess what? Even do another thing, subscribe. Hit that little bell button and put the notifications on. So when we post this exquisite content, right, you'll get it directly in your notifications. So subscribe right now. Thank you.
So every year your uncle flew to either the UK or America.
Yeah.
Why those two countries, was it?
Because we've got family in both places, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would have preferred America?
I would have preferred America.
Interesting.
Had you been there before?
No.
Okay.
But I reckon if I'd grown up there, especially being sporty from young,
yeah, I
would have definitely ended up in the NFL.
You'd have killed it.
Interesting.
I would have killed it. I would have.
That kind of energy, I like that energy.
I would have destroyed it.
I love that energy. What was it about like the UK then that you saw in that week where you was like, I need to stay?
You know what it is? When I was little, I always used to say, I'm going to live abroad. And I remember it all started from a little toy that used to play the instrumental to London Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what's joke? Growing up back then, you hear London Bridge falling down. And the picture on the toy was Tower Bridge.
Right.
So loads of people abroad always thought London Bridge was Tower Bridge. A lot of people don't know that over here, but a lot of people abroad always see Tower Bridge and they always think Tower Bridge is London Bridge, but it's not. Yeah.
I thought that when I was younger as well.
You see what I mean? Because that's what you'd always see as the main showpiece of London. Yeah.
So it was more like the sights that attracted you from a young age.
The sights and the people that I met within that week of just playing around in the park and things like that, I was just like, right, I could actually live here. Right. You know what I mean?
What kind of things did you, off the back, notice was different between like growing up in Nigeria to even just that week that you was out here? Were there any major differences that you...
The way the kids moved.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, you know, like in Nigeria, like your parents would say something and instantly... Over here, there was always slight rebuttals. Right. I was just like, like, you know, gotta have freedom of speech. You know what I mean? And also, I'll tell you another thing here, why my mom kind of agreed for me to live here was because in school I used to get into fights, bro, all the time.
In Nigeria?
Yeah. I used to get into fights because I would never have it from no one. Like, my mentality has always been like, don't back down from very, very young. So I remember like, my mom, she always used to say to me, if you lose a fight, don't come home and tell me. Like, don't come home crying. So my mentality was like, right, if I lose, just keep quiet, figure out how to go win.
Yeah.
Then when you win, come back and tell the whole story of what happened. So I remember like sometimes my mom would get letters from teachers and all that complain about this happened or that happened. And my mom would be like, why did this happen? I'll say, all right, so-and-so tried to fight my brethren, so-and-so beat me up. I had to figure out how to win. The next day in school now, I might have had like a bag in my hand, swung it, bam, hit them with a book, bam, you know what I mean, stamp them out.
Then, like WWE,
you know what I mean? I always used to find ways to win. I remember like even one time there was a big kid, he was like, so in Nigeria, if you fail, you get held back.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can't go into year 7 unless you
Wait,
pass.
Could that be multiple years? Like,
Bro, this kid was 14, he was year 6. So he was already bigger than me. So I remember one day, like, we got into a fight. Me and him used to be cool. So he's tried to bully someone I know. And I've stepped in, I was like, oh, leave it. So he's tried to switch on me. He's picked me up and put me on the wall. The kids are looking through the window like, ah. Everyone's hyping it up, giving them all that energy. But me, like, I grew up with, like, in my area, I grew up with older kids who taught me how to fight from young. Right. So they taught me how to fight and win by any means possible. So now he's picked me up now. I've literally kicked him in the balls. He's dropped down, dropped me. I punch him in the balls. He's on the floor now. So I'm holding the edge of the mirror window and I'm jumping and I'm jumping and I'm stamping on him. Then I've creeped back into class now. Then teachers have found out what's happened. They've made me go outside. Bro, you see how it's sunny outside right now? I had to do this for time. It's the old school punishment.
What, one finger?
One finger, one foot.
That was the thing.
One finger, one foot. Anytime I drop my foot, I was getting beaten. I was getting beaten every time. Every single time. But
Wait,
why I laugh here, you know why I laugh here? This is why I said I would have blitzed the NFL. Because I used to get into so much trouble. I didn't realize that all these punishments had me conditioned from early. So I remember, like, in secondary school, for instance, when I first started lifting weight, and some of my friends would be like, yeah, you've always been kind of built in a way. I said that I was skinny, but had little defined arms. But my baseline strength when I first started benching was 60K from the jump. But that was due to years of punishment as a kid.
Yeah.
So all the trouble I used to get into, I realized is what kind of made me strong without even clocking on. So, like, example, when I was out there, when I was a little kid, because I was very crafty and smart, I hated kids in my school. They were little snitches. So, like, most kids, we would have a screen from which was shorts because of the weather and all of that. But I was crafty. I would wear, like, shorts underneath my shorts, and I would stack papers in the pockets. So when the teachers are beating, you know, like in Nigeria, they'll raise your hand and they'll be whooping you. I'll be there pretending like, nah. But these times I know it's not hurting me. Yeah. So one time, the teacher's beating a whole bunch of us. The other kids are proper bawling out. And I'm just there laughing. So one of the kids has snitched on me after I've told them the pattern. From time I say, right, you know it won't hurt if you do this.
That's why you don't share the patterns.
So you try to help people. Man, try to help.
That's when the teacher started giving me like real raw punishments, boy. The frog jumps, hands up there, the angle 90. I went through it all. I went through it all on a daily because I would never back down. Never ever back down. And I remember like one time when it was like parents' evening and my mum's come out there and like the teachers were like, we were beating him and he was laughing. Then my mum was like, have you ever tried to talk to him? And then I was like, yeah, have you ever tried to speak to me? And the teacher was like, yeah, but the other kid, I just looked at her and just kind of just laughed. And my mum was like, shh. And I said to my mum after, I was like, if they just do what you do and speak to me, I'm a polite kid, I'm always good. But if you try to show dominance, it don't work. It just triggers me. And I realized that's how transitioning till today, that's why I'm not working 9 to 5. Because I realized from young, like even when I used to work 9 to 5, I hated it with a passion. I would listen and I'll do things, but I was just like, I just always hate being dominated. I'd rather make less money on my own terms than make more money on someone else's terms. It's weird, but it's just, I realized it's been ingrained in me from young.
Interesting.
So, bro, going back to like that kind of like schoolboy you, how was it? Was it just you and your mum?
Me and my mum, and then my little brother. So I had a little brother. He passed in 2004, so he was 6 years younger than me. Yeah, but my little brother was Down syndrome, so he had speech problems as well. So it was like it was weird because I fully understood everything my brother said, but no one else knew. Like we had our own little way of communicating. So it was just like, I remember like when I moved out here, I kind of felt bad because my mum said for like a good, probably like 6 months, because we used to play hide and seek a lot as kids and I would always hide like in the wardrobes and on top of the wardrobe. He would literally climb everywhere searching, looking for me. So I kind of felt bad leaving him out there. Then in 2004 when he passed, I was just like proper like down for a while because the last time I'd seen my brother was 96.
Wow.
So when he passed, I tried to fly. I was trying to find a flight to fly back home. And at the time, I hadn't got my indefinite leave to remain in the UK. Then after that, about 6 weeks later, I got that. But my mom literally went and buried him quickly because she didn't want me to try and fly back, because if I flew back, I'd have been stuck in Nigeria permanently. Yeah.
What was the relationship like with you and your mum?
Very close.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Best friend type thing?
Yeah. Like my mom was like my brethren. Like, you know, like if I was talking to her on the phone, you'd have thought I was talking to one of the men them.
Yeah.
Because we'd be brushing each other like from like the start of the conversation. I'll phone her, I'll be like, yo, big head, you took too long to answer. She's like, what do you mean? I said, Rah, why you let the phone ring 3 times? Then she'd be like, Rah, you think you're talking to the, like, you know what I mean? In an Igbo accent, and we're going back, forth, but that's how we were, you know what I mean?
You know what, for me, like, I grew up with just my mum, innit?
Yeah.
And I feel from a young age, I took on the protector role.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm envisioning myself, like, leaving my mum at that age,
Yeah.
I'm going to be thinking, is she all right?
Yeah.
Like, is mum okay? Were those thoughts going through your head?
All the time. But my main reason for moving to England was just really and truly because of money. No other reason, but I kind of knew this from young. I was like, if I'm able to get to a level to be able to provide for my family and my mum first, then the wider family network, I need to get myself to a certain level. So even till today, like, even though I've been here all this time and I haven't hit my personal targets, that's still the plan. You know what I mean? Like, because my mum, when she was alive, I would literally, like, every time I'm working, I'm sending her money, but she'll be using it to help everyone else around her. So I remember, like, when she passed, I said to a few of my family members, like, the glory days are gone for a while. And a few of my cousins didn't get why I said that.
Yeah.
Then after I explained to one of my older cousins, I said that basically, my mum, I think she worked herself to death where she put everyone else before her. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to work myself to where I need to be. Then, you know what I mean? Then distribute. But before, I used to be like her because I always wanted to make sure my mum was all right. So all the time, I'm working, and my aunt is like, have you sent your mum money? So I'm there trying to make sure my mum's all right, trying to make sure my aunt's all right, and not watching after myself. So just spending, not realizing. So after my mum died, what happened was all the funeral costs kind of came from me. Apart from when my brethren have said, so Gabriel was made all my brethren chip in like little money to cover off like my rent and bills while I was gone for a month. And I said to him, bro, I proper appreciate that. So it's like, even fast forward to now, how he's always on my channel with me and all of that. Like, I rate Gabriel higher than most family members just due to the way that he's always got my back no matter what. And imagine my mum being a lot of my family members' favourite, apparently. You let him chipped in for a funeral. And unfortunately, like, after my mum passed, a few of my aunts and uncles have passed, and I've chipped in money in that day, and my cousins have phoned me and said, thank you, you've put in more than so and so and so and so. And I'm like, you know what, your mum and dad were always nice to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the least I could do. But at the same time, I could have probably done more. But just due to how I felt at that moment when my mum passed, it kind of, I can't lie, it kind of made me bitter for a tiny bit, because I felt like you lot have been around my mum more than me. Because bear in mind, I left my mum at 11. From 11 to, say, when my mum passed, I probably spent a total of a month around my mum. That's like a 20-something year span. You get what I'm saying?
So there was people a lot closer to her than
Exactly.
you.
So even though, like, my mum raised me in my early years, as I grew older, I was very close to her, but my aunt was as equally close to me as my mum. So, like, sometimes I could kind of feel at times where my mum phoned me and said, I haven't heard from you, and how's your aunt? I'll be like, I saw her yesterday. She's like, you're always, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said, that's the closest thing to you around me. So me and my aunt are very, very, you know what I mean, close.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like when I moved out of home, she thought I'd be the prodigal son. She thought I'd be the one who never comes home. Because when I lived at home, I was always out all the time. But I said to her, I just wanted my space. That's what it was. It wasn't.
That freedom, innit?
Yeah, it's just the freedom of, I know that if I'm upstairs, you're gonna phone me. Could you go shop and get this? Could you go do this? Like, I still need to breathe. I could be sleeping, you're knocking my door to find you the remote. I'm like, mate, have you even looked? It was on the seat next to you.
Before they look, they come to you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I said, that's all that was, nothing more. You know what I mean?
So in terms of like your dad, was
Yeah.
was there any relationship there?
Up until when I was like 6, like just around the time my brother was born. But since then, I ain't really had no communication with him. Yeah.
See, when I touch on subjects like that, that's close to me because like my dad was very inconsistent. Like I got 3 half sisters, grew up on the same estate as my dad and his other family, but he hardly checked on me. Like
That's
literally,
mad.
like me and my mum moved estate when I was 9.
Yeah.
He came to check me then. Then I didn't see him for 7 years,
Yeah,
and like to this day, I don't have a relationship with him. He don't know his grandkids or anything.
yeah.
But like for me, I felt like I carried a bit of resentment because I also saw how much my mum had to do because there wasn't
Because there wasn't a man there.
Did you feel any of that towards your dad?
You know what? It's weird. Like, even though like till today, we don't speak, and I've got siblings like you. They're all older than me. So my older sisters are like 10 years older. They're twins. Then after that, it's one of my brothers. Then my next brother, he's, how old is he? 5 years older than me.
Are these half siblings?
Yeah.
Okay.
I try not to call them that.
Right.
I had a bad habit of calling half, but your siblings are your siblings.
Yeah.
It's I don't think it's fair on them calling them half. You know what I mean? Like, we should call our dad the half. So the last one, she's a year older than me, but she came out here and checked me like 7 years ago. That's the only one I've met out of all of them.
Okay.
Then my brother, who's 5 years older, he hollers at me regular. So I kind of feel bad because I find it hard keeping communication because, you know what it is, I'm so used to being by myself that a lot of people get upset with me when they don't hear from me frequent. But I'm just like self-sufficient. I don't like. You see, like
I definitely relate.
You see, like during pandemic when people was losing their minds, it wasn't affecting me
You was
one
in a
bit.
calm space.
I was in a zen mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I found things to do. Like, I'm naturally someone who could always make something out of nothing. So I found things to keep myself occupied. So when everyone was going mad, at that time, it was time for me to kind of reflect because, bear in mind, pandemic started like beginning of March 2000. I buried my mum December 2019. So after that, I remember coming back home and I was like, well, I'm going on holiday. I need to get myself out here. Like, you know, like everyone's coming, oh yeah, you're right. And at that moment, that's not what you want to hear. Me and Marvin gone to New York, come back. Following month, I'm still kind of like in a daze. I was like, oh, let's go Paris for a quick weekend and end of the month. After we come back, literally a few days later, COVID had hit all of us.
Wow.
A week later, we're in lockdown. You get what I'm saying? So I was already in that mode anyway. I was already in lockdown from my mum passing funeral period and all that. I wasn't working. Lockdowns come. I'm already in my house all the time. So I was already used to not mixing with anyone. I already locked myself in. I would literally just show up once a week and drive to Tesco, buy food. Then one of my clients that I used to train, because she knew I didn't want to train no one at that period, she would drag me to the gym once a week and I'll just do legs once a week with her. Then I'll just go back in and just kind of stay by myself. So I was already kind of like in that zone. But when I snapped out of it now and said, rah, back to me, lockdown, I said, get inside. So yeah, COVID kind of taught me more about myself, where I realized that I've always loved my company, but I loved it even more. Yeah.
Certain people can't be on their own.
Yeah,
Like they can't. I don't know. Like I've met especially women, I find like
Yeah.
some women that I've met in the past,
are needy.
they just don't like they being on their own. And I've always been someone. It might be because it was just me and my mum.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I enjoy my own company.
Yeah.
Like put me in the yard, and I could stay in my yard for a good week or so. Like I'm not bothered.
As long as I got food, I'm all right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question though. If the both of you, like, do you get scared of getting used to being that way?
I'll tell you this, yeah, I've got no choice but to get wealthy. I realise why. I need multiple rooms. I need a shared room. I need a spare room. I need a study room that it's not going to be for studying. It's just for me to lock myself away and take a few hours and just be away from everything. Because if not, it will be hard still. But you know what? I've dated someone who understands that if I'm silent, there's nothing wrong. Like, I like people who can understand that me being silent is not awkward silent. It's
And you don't have to tell them.
yeah, I don't have to tell them. Where I've dated someone who I proper liked who was the opposite, where, oh, you all right? You okay? You okay?
Yeah.
That started to annoy me. Because now there's a problem. Because you're always like, oh, you all right? Are you okay? Wow, there was nothing wrong. But now you're just forcing on something. It's become a problem.
I feel like for me to function at the level I function, I need that space. Because and you're a man that does so many things, so to
You
me,
need time for your brain to start thinking and
resets.
resetting and putting things together to make it make sense.
100%.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, I will then become irritable. There will be a problem, and the problem is I need some space to myself. Do you know what I mean? So without your dad being around, obviously it was just you and your mum, and then you moved to England and you're with your uncle now. How was it living with a man?
You know what is here? Like, I rate my uncle so highly. I rate him probably higher than most people, because imagine you've got your wife now. My auntie is my mum's sister. You could have taken anyone from your side of the family, but you decided to take your wife's nephew. You know what I mean? When I was little, a lot of my cousins were proper like jealous of me. Like, they proper like thought like I was like their favorite or some golden child. Yeah.
Do you mean your cousins back home?
Back home?
Okay.
They thought like I was some kind of golden child, where they felt like my aunties and uncles always kind of like favored me. But what they didn't get was, when I was little, like, my nickname amongst family was Old Man, because I'd moved like I was years ahead. But the difference between me and them was I'd never asked for nothing. You get what I'm saying? So if I'd ask you for something, you would want to do it because you know it was rare.
Yeah.
So the one time I've asked was, could I stay? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
While you lot would always want little things. Yeah, could I have this? Could I have that? Whereas usually I'm just to myself. I was always happy with the little I got. If you gave me something, I was always grateful. Till today, it's always the same. I could get the smallest thing and I'm happy. Like, people always think that, you have to pull out the most extravagant. Nah, like,
Gratitude.
it could be something
The simplest
as little
things in
as
life.
orange juice or something, and
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
excited. You know what I mean? So that's where the difference lay. Where I was always like, when I was little, I hated school. So I was very good at school, because in Nigeria they had a system where if your grades were very high, you could skip a year. So my whole plan in school was, my mum knew from little I was trying to get through school as fast as possible. So a couple times I was meant to skip a year, she held me back to my year group. And I was just like, why are you doing this? Like, you know I don't like school. So that's why I was good at school. Not because anyone could be academically smart. That's what people don't understand. It don't take a genius to do well in school. You just have to be
Memory.
If you got good memory, that's it.
Yeah.
School doesn't mean you're smart. Like, I know some people might see this and get offended, but being book smart does not mean you're smart.
It shows that you
It
can
just means
remember
that you're
what
very
you
good
read.
at cramming. That's all it is. So as a kid, I was very good at cramming, just because I knew I didn't want to be in school. That's it. Not for a reason.
So what was school like over here then? Because obviously you said in Nigeria, getting in trouble, getting in fights, all of that. Did you feel that when you started school in England, you brought that attitude with you, or?
Year 7 I got beat up a lot, but I can't
Serious?
even front. Yeah, I came in there thinking, all English kids are pussies. I beat some kids up, but I got smacked up a lot. I can't even lie to you still. Like, there's some man when I see them, like, in my head, I'm like, you got me still. You battered me still. The memories are there, boy. I'm like, damn, if I could get a time machine, I'll just throw like something, catch that spanner, hit him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think when I moved here, I kind of dumbed down. Yeah.
Serious?
Kids in Nigeria, like, academically are, like, if you go to the right school, academically ahead of the kids here.
Yeah, I've heard.
Like spelling wise, things like that, I think I was better over there than when I moved here. So I think probably year 6 I was better than I was when I was in year 9, because at first I was trying to mix with the English boys.
Yeah.
I wanted to be one of the boys. So I'm halfway trying to be good at schoolwork, but halfway trying to, you know what I mean, mixing the man them.
Yeah.
But by
What
the
school
time
did you go to?
Archbishop Tennyson, but by the time I finished school, my grades were back up, you know what I mean, back up to where they needed to be, like. But I think partly another reason why I didn't do as good as I could have done in school, even though I passed everything but French, was due to my aunt being very, very strict. It comes back to me and my issues with people trying to,
Control.
show dominance. It literally frazzles me. So what's happened now is my aunt had this, you have to be back from school by 4. Bear in mind, my school finished at 3:20. So there wasn't no time to,
40-minute window.
there wasn't no time to mingle with no one or this or that. So at one point when it got to, why my grades got better at the back end of school was, by the time it got to year 10, I'd rather just stay in school. So after school, I'll just stay in school and do my work at school. And my worst subject was English language and literature, but I got 2 C's in both. But I used to stay with the English teacher, which was my deputy head, and he used to help me a lot. So like even during half term, when he would be in school, I would go into school on half term, and he would help me in my work to get better grades. So like, I proper rate him for that, because you didn't have to do that, you know what I mean? But it was a thing that I come from a family that's very competitive, so I still wanted to pass. So like in my family, you want to be the best at whatever you do. So I think if my aunt wasn't as strict as she was, I would have got better grades. Yeah, but due to her being so strict, I felt like I was in prison. Imagine you come home at 4 o'clock, by 4 o'clock you have to eat, 4:30 you have to go to your room and study from 4:30 to 7:30. A child's been at school from 8:20 in the morning till 3:20.
It's mad.
Your mind is not thinking bookwork.
Nah.
So what started to happen was, I think when I was in school, I got into a pattern of, I always used to sit down at chairs by the window, and I would always be looking outside. And I realized that come from always being, I don't want to be here no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember the first few years of living here, like, I'd be moaning to my mum, like, like when my aunt goes out of the room, I'll be like, I don't want to be here, like, I hate it.
You regretted the decision early on?
Because my mum, like, when I was a kid, like, you come back from school, you just go outside and play after you've done your homework. Like, literally, I'll bang my homework out fast and just out there just running with the kids, like local kids, kicking ball, just running in the sand and doing a madness, then back in, then go sleep, get ready for school. And like, me and the kids are all walking to school catching joke, and you know what I mean, we're late every day. That's why we used to get into trouble as well. We'd be late every day because we'd stop and we'd be talking to like the little kids who don't go to school and all of that, and just like little like area boys, you know what I mean? Then coming here and just feeling like all your freedom's been taken, like, it was annoying. Because I remember, like, I got my first mobile phone in year 9, and you know back in them days, you weren't allowed a phone. Like, your parents weren't buying you a phone. So I remember, like, I bought my first phone and no one knew I had a phone for like 3 years up until college. I remember just after my 16th walking, like, hey. My aunt was like, bro, you got a phone? I was like, I got 2, man. This is my old one. So I remember, like, in year 9, talking to some of my brothers who'd gone jail in school, and they sounded like they was having a whale of a time in jail. I was like, bro, what's going on? Why does it feel like it's more fun there.
Then out here.
You know what I mean? So I remember like when I was younger, like, and my aunt saying, "Oh yeah, why are your grades this and that?" And I was just like telling her that you're too strict on us. Like you don't give us that time to do nothing. Sunday we're in the whole day. If we don't go church, you're gonna make us stay in. Saturday, we've got this little window of we have to be back by 6:30, but you've taken us to do food shopping, and by the time we get back into the house, it's 3:34. So it felt like I was in some prison camp or something.
Yeah.
So due to that, I just didn't care about bookwork as much as I used to when I was younger.
It became
When
a
I was,
chore.
yeah, it became a chore. It wasn't fun, you know what I mean? But when I was younger, it was a thing that I would just literally study because I wanted to get out of school quickly, and being from a family that's super competitive, I wanted to have the best grades at the same time. I wanted to be the best athlete. I wanted to be the strongest. I wanted to be everything, you know what I mean? But by now, moving to here, it was just like, forget school, man. This is long, you know what I mean?
When did you get that freedom again to like just stay out for as long as you want to?
I think when I got to 18, when I started banging out overtime at work. So what happened was when I got to 18 now, I decided not to go uni straight away. I took a year out, and that's around the same year my brother passed and all of that. So I just used to work, and I was playing basketball at the same time. Then a lot of times I'll just be like, I'm staying at my girl's house because I didn't want to be at home.
Yeah.
So because my aunt was cool, my girlfriend,
Okay.
she didn't mind me going there because she knew that I was at my girl's mum's house. She knew I wasn't going to be on a madness. But me knowing that I knew I was free, you know what I mean? My girl's mum wasn't going to say to us, stay in.
Out and about.
Out and about, you know what I mean?